everyone, it's Kris with the singlesnetwork.org ministries and FromHisHands.com. You know, Jesus was grateful to be single. Now you're probably saying, what? Jesus was grateful. How was Jesus grateful? Well, he was grateful in the fact that God had him as a single adult for a reason. There's value in his singleness, and there's thankfulness in it. Now, for me personally, I wasn't always in agreement with that. I had a hard time at one time in my life being thankful for being single. I mean, what's so great about it? I mean, you don't have anybody in your life that you love, you know. You have to make all the decisions yourself, all the responsibilities, all the finances are on you. You know, what's so great about being single? Well, a few years ago, I had a wonderful situation that happened in my life that God was going to teach me the value of being thankful in my singleness. My wonderful stepfather passed away, and my mom, she had decided that she really didn't want to live alone. She didn't like living alone. She'd always been married, and she had first marriage with my birth father, then my stepfather, and she had always had people around her, and she didn't like being by herself. Well, I had nobody in my house, and I kind of liked being by myself, although I wasn't really thankful necessarily for it, but I got really used to being by myself. And so she said, hey, maybe we could be roommates. And I'm like, I don't think so. So she's decided she was going to move closer to me, and she was going to get her a house, buy her a house, and at least we could be closer by. She'd be 2 hours from one child and 2 hours from another one, and then there's another one that's even farther away, and then me. And I said, okay, that sounds good. And as I started to pray about it, I thought, I have 2 mortgages. It doesn't make any sense. She's now a single woman again, a widow, single parent with grown kids, and I'm single. It's just silly to waste money. Why don't we move? We can move in together. So she moved in with me first in my little house, and everywhere I looked, there she was. I said, this is not going to work. I love you, but this is not going to work. And I'm like, we need a bigger house. So we started looking, and she wanted to live in this little small community that was even farther out of the Raleigh area where I lived. And I was like, oh gosh, even farther out, but it really didn't matter. That's how God had grown me, just not that big of a deal. So we moved into a bigger home, and things were great for a little while. And I was really struggling with this person in my life. Even though I loved my mom, we were different. We had grown differently in different ways. Everything from, how you cook and where you buy your groceries and how many groceries you buy, to how you clean the house, to how important it is to pay things on time, and all those different things. And I remember writing an article for a magazine called, I Married My Mother and Now Want a Divorce. And people were like, what? And I'm like, well, I think a lot of it was I kind of became my dad to her. I kind of fell into his role and the expectations of what she wanted from me, like my dad. And I'm nothing like my dad. And so there was a lot of struggles in the beginning, a lot of fights, a lot of, I'm just going to move back out into my own house, and maybe we're best apart. But yet God kept saying, no, Kris, this is where I have you. And I remember one day my mom said to me, maybe it's better that you just move back into your other house, because it was on the market to sell. And I remember saying to her, the problems I have with me and with you have nothing to do with location. It's something that I need to work on between me and God in relation to you. I had to learn to be thankful in my singleness of where God had me. A lot of people said, Kris, I bet your mother moving in with you, I bet you that's to help you prepare for marriage. You're having to learn how to not, have things your way, and God's preparing you, And I go, well, that may be so. Because I think having roommates of the same sex, I think does teach you a lot about yourself. But I said, no, I think God is helping me to be a better Christian. Because what I found that I was probably the most selfish person on the earth. I didn't realize how I had to have everything my way. And what was really interesting, guys, is my mom became a mirror. That everything I saw in myself was reflected in her, and I didn't like it. I didn't like how I got upset over little things. I didn't like that I just didn't want her there. I didn't like that things bothered me. Things that just didn't matter bothered me. And so I began to see that God had set this up. that God was behind this, and I needed to be thankful. You know what's great, guys, is now when I travel, I don't worry about my home because my mother takes care of my home, or our home. That I have someone to talk to and to share my day. I have someone that supports me and encourages me, and I have someone to split the bills with. So while at the time I didn't see any grateful, why should I be grateful for this situation? Well, how can I be grateful for my singleness? It allows me to go do the work God has called me to do, to minister to other singles, to encourage other singles. Some of you are dealing with the same thing. Your parents may be moving back in. Maybe you're moving back in with them. That really wasn't your plan. And it's not a season to be very thankful because you're not really happy where your life is. But I'm telling you, see it from God's perspective. That Jesus, he was thankful in his life. You can be thankful in yours. This is Kris Swiatocho, the singlesnetwork.org ministries, and FromHisHands.com.